Hey, besties, this is Julie.
And this is Chantel, and we are Viera Vida.
Oh, that's what you. Okay.
I had to
We
do a little
are.
something.
Yes, we are. I haven't heard that in a while because, Chantel, we haven't been together.
We have not.
So this is our first episode as a crew of 2020. And I'm so excited that you guys are here because today's episode, I think, is one that we all need to hear. And it's about personal growth.
Okay.
But before we really get into that,
Those
of you who are regular listeners, I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna get right into the shout outs of the week.
You go for it. Shout out of the week.
Ooh, shout out of the week. My shout out of the week is going out to all of you who have embraced change. I don't have one specific person, but I was thinking about this show, right? And I was thinking, what can we talk about at the beginning of the year that I haven't heard a million times?
Okay.
Yeah, I have heard a million times. People want to hear it, but what spin can we put on it? So I started thinking about being adaptive and change and the whole concept of new year, new me, and how I feel about it, because I find that a lot of people are now, it's hip to be like, ain't no new year, no me. It's the same me. And then I've heard like new year, same me but better. I've heard just a new year. And I wanted to think about what that meant for me, right? So I said, I'm not going to get too much into it, but basically my synopsis was, those of you who are embracing change are the reason why we are at the top of the food chain, are the reason why we are constantly adapting, are the reason why innovation is so important, and it has come so far. We are the future right now, if you think about even 40 years ago. So shout outs to all of you who are embracing change.
That's so nice.
Thanks, friend. My nose is running a little bit. It's hot sauce.
Yeah, mine is too.
Okay.
Julie brought us in empanadas for breakfast. They're really good, and they're hot sauce. I almost wiped it. I grabbed a tissue.
Yeah, I wanted to just make that disclaimer because I feel like I got deep really fast.
And then started wiping your nose.
And then
like
it looked emotional, and I'm like, no, okay, we're not that deep yet. We'll get there, but we're not that deep yet.
That was good.
Thanks, friend.
My shout out. Okay. I want to shout out one. Excuse me. I'm still fighting a cold. You know what? Shout out to you. Let me tell everybody about this, because you let me know about that sinus bottle, the Neomed
nasal rinse. Yes.
Can I tell you that?
Shout outs to me then.
Shout outs to you. Anybody who's listening, if you have a sore throat, lots of congestion, that has actually helped me. Right now I'm a little congested because I didn't do it this morning. I did do it yesterday and the morning before. My throat started to hurt again from swallowing like 2 nights ago.
Ooh.
Like bad. Like when you swallow, it's like,
Like you're swallowing knives.
Yes.
Ugh.
So then you sit there, for me personally, I sit there as long as I can and try not to swallow for as long as I can, because that's how bad it hurts.
It's been like, this is probably TMI, but I'm here now. It's been so bad before that I've just had like a pot that like one of those bins so that I could just drain? Not swallow.
Oh, just let the...
Just...
I understand, because if it's bad, it hurts.
Yeah.
So I've used that Neomed sinus squirt bottle, and it has done wonders. So I thank you.
I can't take credit. I can't. It was actually my ENT who recommended it.
But shout out to the ENT.
Yeah, after I had a deviated septum, and it was actually really, really hard for me whenever I would get sore throats, because it would always turn into strep. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out that actually helped with my asthma and everything, because I got my septum straightened. And it's called septoplasty. I think people mix it up with rhinoplasty, but this nose still needs work, y'all. But it's called septoplasty. And afterwards, you basically have sorry guys, for lack of better words, it's like 2 tampons that go up your nostrils. Well, basically, it's because there's so much bleeding, and what you're supposed to do is rinse that out afterwards. This is a lot of information. We're really diving in.
But you know what? It's good, because sometimes when people, they need to know these things.
Yeah. So the doctor she was actually the surgeon, recommended that I try this in order to alleviate both, the the congestion and all those things after the surgery, but anytime I had a sore throat or a stuffy nose, and girl, this is part of my daily routine now.
Doing the nasal rinse?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll be surprised. Well, not you, but I was surprised by like what was coming out. And that's probably what was irritating.
That you didn't know was there.
Right.
So this is a health PSA from the Viera Vida show. Make sure you're doing your nasal rinsing. I think it has changed my life. It really has.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's one of those things that it's like,
you feel
if
like
you don't
might
do
choke,
it right,
but you're okay.
If you don't do it properly, isn't it like you went swimming and water went out?
And I hate that feeling. So I told my sister, and she laughs because I said, "Okay, it's the first time I'm gonna do it."
You announced it.
Because I was on speakerphone with her. I said,
so
should
funny.
you hear a clunk? That's me because I passed out because I didn't breathe properly.
Friend.
Don't you know I dropped something? I was like, oh, sorry, I'm good. And she laughed after.
No,
like,
that just scared me.
But I told her, even in the shower when I wash my face, I hold my breath because I don't like the feeling of me breathing and water going into my nose. It burns. So I had to like get used to it. Burns my nostrils. Friend. So I had to get used to this. This isn't as bad at all.
No,
as
it's
that,
not.
But yeah,
once you learn how to
do it correctly,
do it properly. Okay, you guys, we just took a huge tangent. Yeah. But if that changes your life, then it's worth it.
Your nose is perfect. For anybody watching, I'm doing the From the Stars Born Lady Gaga, and your nose is perfect.
I haven't seen a Star is Born.
It's pretty good. It's worth watching.
So I hear you guys. If you see me on the video and I'm on my phone, it's that I'm sharing the video with everybody. Okay, so let's talk about this theme, right? Mm-hmm. This New Year, New Me. I kind of gave a little bit of what I thought about it. I kind of wanted to hear your opinion on that cliche, New Year, New Me.
So in one sense, I understand where they're coming from with the New Year, New Me. But then in the flip side of that coin, I feel like it said so much.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That it's like, are you just saying it to say it, or are you actually putting through the steps or doing the work to actually make the new you?
Right? She said doing the work.
Doing the work.
Okay, we're getting somewhere.
And also, while everybody should be growing, because some people I don't think they like to grow, but while everybody should be growing as you get older, as you go through different experiences, as you learn more, as you have new relationships, friendships, I feel like it's good. It's okay to be the same you, but with a different mindset, different growth patterns, different like work habits. So I think it's okay to, I'm still Chantel, Julie. I'm still Julie, but I see things differently. I move differently. I handle things differently. So I think it's okay to be you, but with growth.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to put it, because our history, our memories, our experiences do create that change and that growth. So this is where I'm at.
Where are you at?
Have you heard about the regeneration of our cells and how basically every 7 to 10 years, every cell in your body has regenerated so that you're a new person?
Is that like where they say like your body chemistry changes? Is that the same? Okay.
Right. Yep. So I looked it up. There's some truth to it. Some of it's just, I guess a minimizing of the process. Mm-hmm. But it is true.
Okay.
Our cells do have a limited amount of time in which they live. In order to regenerate new cells, you have to make space for them, right?
Okay.
So that's the reason why when we're babies in the wombs, we start getting the space between our fingers and our toes, and we start getting, forming different places because those cells aren't the ones that made it. So when I think about that, when I think about the 7 years that it takes for our cells to regenerate, I think about like how much that does change the chemistry of your body. I think I lost a skinny cell. I used to have that. It was really cool though to have that growing up.
Julie.
It's true, friend.
You still look great. Okay.
Thanks.
And we know that it's out of your control or whatever you feel that you have gained.
Friend.
Okay.
You're so cute, so
all
nice,
right.
so friendly.
You probably still have the skinny gene if you didn't have to do what you had to do.
Right.
Yes.
I don't. So, so all that being considered, right?
Yes.
Our cells are regenerating. The chemistry in our bodies are changing.
Okay.
Our hormones are changing. And so I started thinking in my head, I really feel like this year, and I'm born in January, so this might be why it's hitting me harder, because it really does feel like a new year.
Okay.
Like not just on the annual calendar, but also for me in my life. So 7, 14, 21, 28, right? At 28, I was losing all these cells, you know. I was coming into this new person with these new cells, these new chemical react whatever the science
The
is.
scientific word, sorry, yeah.
And I felt it.
Yeah.
I really did. I really felt like, wow, I don't know who I am now. I don't know since when does soda make me burp? Since when does this and that? You know, all these things. And I said to myself, you're changing. And it wasn't that new year, new me type of like mental shift, the cut people off, the scissors here and there. It was more physically that I thought about it. So when you think about it like that, have you seen any big changes in 7 years in the processes through your life? Because I feel like millennials, we're all sitting here at this cusp, at this, you just changed biologically, or you're about to change biologically, or you're going through this biological change, and it sort of is the new puberty in my mind. It's like you go through puberty, you go through this little quarter life crisis, and then you have your midlife crisis. And I feel like these are really, really influential parts of our life that we tend to forget are just change and how we deal with change.
Yes. So
That was a lot.
it was, for lack of better words, because I always want to say it's funny that you brought that up. I feel like for me, the chemical changes that my body is going through, and also the fact that I've had 2 babies, so then of course the hormones from that and the changes of the chemical balance for a woman with that.
Speak on it.
I actually am in a bit of, and I'm not claiming this, it's just what the symptoms of my body are showing.
Okay.
I'm going through a bit of a decline as far as migraines go.
Okay.
And looking back on them, I told my mom the other day, I've actually had migraine attacks with the aura as early as 6th grade. I remember a certain day, I remember going through it. At the time, because the pain presented itself in my face, we thought it was a really bad sinus headache. Looking back now, I'm like, no, that was a migraine with aura. And so with you saying that, I'm noticing that as I'm getting older, if I write them down and jot them down, the progression of how they have presented themselves and certain things that I'm going through, and now going through this migraine hangover phase, it's like, it could have to do with the chemicals in the body, but I've also just had a baby. So it's like, you know, but I'm staying positive with it. All's good, all's well, but yeah, that kind of makes sense for me on the opposite end of the fence. Yeah.
Because you guys, we don't rehearse. Like
No.
we look up our facts, right?
Yep.
We look up articles, we prepare, but we don't rehearse.
And Julie didn't tell me this was the topic today. I'm just now hearing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I just got chills because Julio and I were having this conversation about how physical symptoms can present themselves, and what that has to do with what you're going through in your life at the time. So you guys stick with us because we're going to talk about that a little bit after this break.
Hello, my name is Melvin Prince John, and I'm running for the 3rd Congressional District, City of Philadelphia, in the great state of Pennsylvania. We're 16 days in January. There's more than 22 killings in our city. You need a community congressman that will go block by block, door by door, and fix this problem. Now, I think it's economics, but you might think it's something else. And I'm coming so you can tell me what it is. Once again, my name is Melvin Prince Johnick, and I'm running for the 3rd Congressional District. Thank you.
Because of you, I feel not alone in this world. And you let me know that it only takes one person to make you feel wanted.
Hey besties, welcome back to the Viera Vida show. I just want to give a shout out to Dylan, who is our engineer today. We're so excited to have you, Dylan.
How you feeling, Dylan?
I feel great today.
He says he feels great, y'all.
I got the sweats on. I'm chilling in here.
Blueberries for breakfast.
That's right.
Blueberries and nuts for breakfast. Oh, why'd I have to do that?
It's always fun with you guys.
I think he enjoys our show, you guys, and this is awesome. I just wanted to give a shout out to Dylan because last week, Chantel, you weren't here, but you were listening online, so you know about DJ Dill D, you know, Red Devil, White Ghost, RD Dub G.
Wait, is that really his name?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, yes, I remember him saying that. Okay.
So the reason why I'm starting this segment giving a shout out to Dylan is one, he's awesome. But two, because I think about this show and I think about how we have grown, and a lot of that has to do with a lot of the feedback and the help that Dylan gives us and adjusting to our schedules and being adaptive, right? So if we didn't have an adaptive culture here, a lot of times we wouldn't be able to create the shows that we do.
Right.
That being said, we left the last segment with a little bit of a cliffhanger about how changes within your life pose sometimes physical symptoms and what we do to adapt to them. So in the past, you might have not understood them fully, and so you weren't able to acknowledge and treat a migraine if you thought it was a sinus headache or whatever that is. So I want to talk about being adaptive and what made me really want to be adaptive and embrace change in my life this year. I explained the 7-year shift. And you guys, I don't know if I made this clear, but the cells in your brain, they don't regenerate.
Right.
So basically, you know, the other cells are moving, but you still have the same brain.
Right.
Just want to put that out there. You still have the same enamel on your teeth. You still have the same lenses in your eyes. There's certain things that don't change. And so that brain is carried with you, and those memories and different traumas are carried with you throughout your whole life, right? And so as you grow, they become part of the change. Sadly, it's not always a positive change, so you have to really think about how you deal with these things. So we were talking about my health. And Chantel, you know, I have tried everything to figure out my seizures and the pass outs. And so my mom calls me yesterday, and she had faced similar symptoms, and I know that she's comfortable in sharing this. I'm comfortable in sharing it, and we were talking about how her neurologist mentioned that some of the trauma that she might go through will pose a fight or flight response and trigger
Like the seizures?
physical responses like seizures.
Okay.
And so I said, new year, new me, cool, but I came into this year with a lot of trauma. I came into this year with a lot of pain, and you already know about some of the things I've been going through. So I really found myself facing a lot of physical symptoms. That being said, you too, you mentioned this, so this is why I'm bringing it up, that, you know, you had children, your body changes, it's stressful, you get a new job, it's stressful, and it might not be negative stress, but stress is stress, and now you're seeing these migraines come back. So I want to talk more about the psychological effects on our body and the reason why we need to embrace change and adapting, because our bodies know what's going on whether we ignore it or not.
Right.
So do you agree or do you disagree that stress and, you know, any tough time in your life, has that brought on migraines in the past?
So I'm trying to be, I guess, subjective. I'm still a little bit funky.
Yeah,
Right,
objective.
Thank you.
Objective, yeah.
In my thinking with that. Because I feel like I handle stress well.
Girl, I had this conversation with Julio last night. That's what I had said.
And I do, and I feel like I handle it well. I feel like, especially at work, I've been in positions where, you know, stuff is thrown on me, and I've watched, and the reason why I feel like I handle it well is because I think I've watched other people.
Right.
And the way that they handle it, and it doesn't look really good.
Sometimes it doesn't.
No, it looks like they're freaking out, and they're like, oh my gosh. And while internally I might have that feeling, I try to take a step back, and I'm like, okay,
You're really good under pressure.
Let me do what I can handle it, right? Because I'm only me, and I've learned that I'm only me. I can only do what I can do, and whoever's on over top of me, a supervisor, whatever, you're going to get my best work. But if you don't get it all completed today, there's always tomorrow. That's how I feel.
Right.
And either you're going to take it or you're going to leave it.
Right.
That's just how I feel. But with that being said, I have so I've been trying to think about the fact that could one of my triggers be stress? Could it be what's going on in my life? Could it be stress? And I don't know. There's a headache center here, and I don't know if it's just the one, because we're in a city, a major city, but there's a headache center here in Philadelphia that I was looking at because I have to see a neurologist just because I have the migraine with aura.
Yes.
And the headache center says that you have to go through a psychiatric evaluation before, you go through everything else. And I'm just like, but I'm like, I'm like, I'm fine. So now that we're talking about this, I think I'm reevaluating if maybe I should just get one, because maybe they will be, whoever the person, the doctor I'm sitting with, will be able to better help me understand whether I truly do handle stress well or no, that is one of my triggers.
Well, that's funny because in my treatments, I've had to also do psychiatric evaluations because, they just want to make sure that, you're functioning properly and things like that. And I always come out as not having any issues, right? But Julio and I, this whole health issue is something we've been looking into a lot, and it's great that you said that you also think you handle stress well, because this is where I think some people might want to open up and think about how to be proactive and embracing this this new you, the one who is okay talking about how stress or stress factors affect you. So, during the times in which I'm stressed, the most stressed, in the past, I have done really well physically. During the times in which, I was really stressed about something, let's say like finances, and I get a new job, and then at one point I was living on my own at college, and it just was some crazy things that went on, and then Julio and I moved in together, and then these symptoms started coming up again. And so what I've been reading is that sometimes there is a residual effect where you're a fighter. Okay. So it's fight or flight. You fight. Your brain fights, and then it's tired. And when it thinks it can relax, finally, is when all of this, disheveled, this, it's just a neurological response starts happening. And a lot of people mix that up with, oh, well, then you're crazy, or you're this, or you're that. And I want to learn more about it. I'm not saying I know too much about it either, but I want to learn about how your brain decides, oh, you're chilling now? Okay, let me handle this. Let me wash the laundry now. And that's when these things come up. And I just thought it was ironic that he noticed that, and then you said, yeah, everything's good now. I handle stress, and, job's good. Things are good. Now I got these migraines. I think there's something to it. So we made an appointment with an expert in fainting who is from Ohio. Oh. I'm on a waiting list. It's going to take a year.
Are you going to have to go to Ohio?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and...
Can I ask you a question?
Right, yeah, go ahead.
Have you thought about documenting this? Like your journey? Video documenting and maybe seeing what footage you have, or...
People do. They've been telling me that for years, and it just...
And
yes, I've thought about it.
Is fine, because it's your personal,
Yeah. I've thought about it. I've always decided not to.
Okay.
Just because it just seems like so small compared to other things that people have to deal with. It just feels like complaining. And I know it's not necessarily true, but it does. It just feels like complaining, and that's just, it makes me feel weird. So that's honestly why I haven't.
So I understand what you're saying, right? Because I kept apologizing while I was going through this bout. When I had an attack, I was at work. We were running around passing out tablets for the teachers.
I'm sorry, I thought you said you were running around passing out. I'm like, friend, you didn't say you passed out.
We were handing out, let me use the correct words, tablets for the teachers. I also think with the hormonal changes, with my my child, people who know, I'm nursing. Nursing has been slowing down, so I'm wondering if that's also affecting why they're coming back. So I stop, I talk to a teacher about her password, and all of a sudden my left hand goes numb. like hard, like bad, like pressure, like I was like, I'm so sorry, I had to cut off conversation. I have to go upstairs and get medication. So as I go upstairs, they're in the middle of a conference call that I'm supposed to be in, and I just keep apologizing. And shout out to Miguel, he's like, if you apologize one more time, like,
That's him.
you know.
Yeah.
So I understand that sentiment, right? Because you do feel like there's other people who go through so much more. There's, even though I suffer with migraine with aura, and migraines are the worst ever. There's also people who have chronic, like every day, no matter what they take, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying in that. However, I also want you to think, and even if you have thought about this and you still make that decision, you know that's fine. Like, this isn't a pressure thing. You might be able to help somebody who is going going through what you're going through, but has not had the resources you have, or has not taken the steps, or don't know how to utilize the resources they have. With your documenting what's going on. That's all.
Sometimes I think it's too late. There's so much I've been through already that's like missed it.
True. But this is a new
It's true. It's a new year.
Yeah.
New, better me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So thank you for that. I'm still on the fence. But
No, I know.
I like that feedback.
Yeah.
So where I'm at
Yeah.
in terms of the topic of the day, personal growth and adaptability is, I want to be in a place where, and I think our show is going to be really important to help with this, where we can talk about physical health and mental health as if they're the same without stigma.
Yeah.
So that we could talk about stress and stress factors as if they have no stigma, and where we can talk about growing and maybe being different people than we were a year ago without judgment. Because I was thinking this morning, where are we going to be in 7 years? Hopefully talking to you guys. Hopefully still, in some way communicating with our audience. And there will be some people who grow with us, and there will be others who, if you don't grow with us, you're not going to like us anymore. So we need to take this journey together.
Yes. Hey, Dylan, we just want to check in. How many minutes do we have left in this segment? A second.
Oh, Chantel's getting ready to get deep with us. Chantel had something to share. Oh, okay. So you know what, Chantel? Hold that thought. I
Okay.
can see it in your eyes. I really can. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, Chantel, you're going to spill whatever tea you were just brewing.
I'm just smiling for people not watching the live.
Hello, my name is Sheila E. Armstrong, and I'm a candidate for the 2nd Congressional District. The reason why I'm the best candidate for the 2nd Congressional District is because I am on the ground doing the work. As your community congresswoman, I'm committed to go door by door and neighborhood to neighborhood to address the issues in our community. For instance, one issue that is concerning to me is the gun violence. Today is January the 16th, and the city of Philadelphia has 22 murders, which is more than a days in a year. This is not right. And you deserve to live in a city and a community that is safe. As your community congresswoman, I will work diligently to fight for you, the people. My name is Sheila E. Armstrong, and I am the best candidate for the 2nd Congressional District. Thank you.
Hey besties, welcome back to Viera Vida show. Today we are growing, showing, talking, and sharing
Yes.
about adaptability
Yep.
and personal growth. Just before this break, Chantel, you look like you really had something to share, and it needed a minute. So I don't even want to distract with anything else. I just want to hear it. I just want to hear what you had to share.
So what I wanted to, I guess, get into next, which I think was on your list. Again, Julie and I be right here with it. And
Right here.
Yeah. you keep mentioning adaptability, right? So it's like you said that in the beginning of this year where you felt like new me, you still are dealing with like struggles in the new year, physical struggles. Here we go in the new year for me, and I was just telling Julie, we were talking about the fact that I haven't had a migraine with Aura since it's been over a year. I was going into my 8th month pregnant, and I had one with Julie at a job that we worked together. So it's like, okay, well, what do I do now? Like, okay, now I notice my body's getting worse. Now I notice my recovery time is taking longer to recover from migraine with Aura. What do I do now? And it's that adaptability of making the decision, am I going to lay down and let whatever is affecting me debilitate me? Oh my gosh, help me with words
No,
today,
that was
Julie.
a
Thank you.
good word. Are you going to be debilitated by
Or
it?
am I going to get up and keep moving? Am I going to take the rest that I need to recover and then, okay, let's keep it moving?
Can't nobody hold me down. Oh no.
Say it, girl.
Got to
So-
keep on moving.
And they even asked me, so they let me work from home the next day because I did say, hey, I might be in tomorrow, but I don't know because I still might have some symptoms tomorrow. Take the day from home. Then the day after, are you sure you should be coming in? And I said, no, I'm feeling better. I think I should try to get back to some normalcy and try to get back to work. So it's that being honest with yourself, recognizing what's going on, treat it because your body's important, your health is important. Treat it and then see how much can I do to get back to my normal life. Because if we don't, we're not going to be doing anything.
Yeah, and you know, in the spirit of objectivity, I would like to bring up that sometimes we are giving ourselves that time. Sometimes we rush back into things. And that is what sparks this. And you know what? I kind of want to bring up what we were talking about over the break.
Okay.
It's what sparks this neurological reaction. So for you, it could be migraines. For me, it could be seizures. And that neurological reaction is your brain was like, hey, we didn't deal with that yet. We got something to deal with. And it's like, oh, we got to go, but we got to go. Okay, let's deal with that. Let's deal with that. And then what, you know, research is finding is that people who suffer from, especially neurological issues, are seeing their symptoms arise when there's a calm. So we're not saying, and Chantel, I know you agree because we were talking about this during the break. We're not saying that if you get migraines after, you know, something bad happened and then everything was good, that you're
like
crazy, that it's psychological, that it's pseudo. No, what we're saying is your brain has a storage file and it says, we're going to deal with what we need to deal with because we are, like I said, top of the food chain. This is how we survive. Your brain is wired to survive. So it doesn't have time to go, you know, building a forest or a house in the forest when you're trying to figure out how to eat.
Yeah.
So, you know, it prioritizes things.
Yeah.
That being said, I was reading this article on LinkedIn the other day, and it was written by actually like a leadership advisor. It wasn't even a scientist or anything, but he clearly put a lot of research into this article because he interviewed some neuroscientists. And one of our quotes is that we know the brain is like a muscle. If you train it right, then you can increase its capacity. So today's episode, if you haven't noticed, is about increasing your brain's capacity. And personal growth is something that doesn't just happen one time.
Right.
It doesn't just happen once a year. It doesn't
Right.
just happen at the turn of the century, right? So how can we increase our brain's capacity? In other words, how can we make sure that we're constantly growing, that
Right.
personal growth is a part of our daily routine? And again, our hypothesis is that this will help you in all aspects of your life, from physical to social. So what the article has are a few points for, I guess, understanding how to switch your brain into learning mode.
Okay.
So the first is to pay careful attention. Sounds pretty cliche, right? It says alert. Focused attention tells the brain it is learning and it's in learning mode. So that makes me think when I am at home and I am listening to a podcast or I am reading a book, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, well, let me change that laundry. All right, after this chapter. Or oh, let me hear this podcast, but at the same time, what I'm going to do is sew this tutu or whatever. I'm not completely in learning mode. So that's fine if it's for entertainment, but I want to switch to a point where if I am listening to a podcast that's for learning, or if I am reading something that is for learning and not leisure, that's all I'm focusing on.
That makes sense.
I do think so. So if you want to learn something and improve your skills, don't multitask.
Yeah, and they're saying multitasking is not good.
I think
It can burn. It helps with burnout.
I think that they're
Faster.
not saying that here. I think for learning
True.
specifically multitasking.
And yeah, so I think I've heard it elsewhere. I can't cite where I heard this from. Sorry, but yeah, they. I don't know if it was in the news or something where they were. Researchers are finding multitasking. That's my news voice. And you know whose face I had in my head? The older gentleman from Action News, Eyewitness News. Dum 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 dum.
Oh, with the white hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's in my head. Sorry. Yeah. What is it? Dylan, do you know his name by chance?
Wolf?
Oh.
Wolf.
No, not Wolf. So it's Channel 6 here. It's ABC Eyewitness News. Like, comes on at like 4 and 6
I'll
o'clock.
look it up for you.
Okay. So, yeah, sorry. Just went on a whole tangent about
I know.
this voice.
We do that
I
because our
use.
brains multitask.
But yeah, they were saying that, I've heard it said that when you multitask, it can actually do you more harm than good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've heard some people say that multitasking isn't a real thing. I would counter that. I would say multitasking is a real thing. And it's for moments in which you're maybe watching a YouTube video and running on the treadmill.
So, yes, that. I
Leisurely.
agree with that.
Right?
Yes. But I think mental multitasking, like where you were saying, where
When
you
you're
have
learning.
to learn,
Mhm.
yes.
Totally
I
not a
think
real
that's-
thing.
Exactly. And that's probably what I should have specified.
So productive multitasking is not a real thing.
Yeah.
Is this person you were talking about Bill Buell?
Let me see. Is it maybe him?
I don't know, you guys. We'll let you know on our Instagram, though, because clearly we need to know because it bothers us. But so, yeah, I agree. Multitasking can be a real thing for leisure, not a real thing for learning.
Correct.
Leisure, learning.
Learn the difference.
Learn it. Secondly, how to switch your brain into learning mode. Focus on a goal. So when you have a clear goal, the brain knows exactly what to do, what it's looking for, so you can measure success and things like that. It can record successes, search for different pathways, and, pivot following failures.
Yeah.
So you're paying attention, and you know what you're paying attention to. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? Third, harness emotion. Now this one's hard. What do you think they mean? Harness emotion. Funny. She's making a funny face. She's like, I don't know. I didn't understand it either until I read this portion. So I'm just gonna read it for you guys. It
Okay,
says,
so I'm not alone in being like, huh?
yeah. Emotion is a powerful tool for building myelin. When you respond very positively to an outcome, the brain understands this outcome to not only be successful, but also particularly important. So it's like a win, but it's also like, all right, let's file this, right?
Okay.
And so it builds more myelin, and that's a neurological, a chemical in your brain, helps you with memories and things like that, and also helps you to learn. So allow yourself to celebrate successes. Also be wary that the brain experiences extreme negative emotion, and it'll record that as well. That's a trauma we were talking about. So if you make a traumatic or scary mistake, make a second attempt as soon as possible. Don't just like stop there, so that your brain doesn't imprint the avoiding of that behavior or certain tasks. So now, what do you think about that?
You know what I think about that? Go to the spa, get a massage.
Ooh, say it. Say it. Say it. Say it.
And try to relax the brain. Yeah, and I guess that's what I think about that.
Yeah.
What did you take from that, Julie?
So what I took from it is, if you're positive or negative, your brain will know. If you're negative, then your brain will know, cool, but whatever you spend the most energy on is what's going to be imprinted. So
That makes a lot
let's
of
say you
sense.
have a moment of negativity. That's fine. You know, we have that, but that's not what you're going to harp on, right? You're going to say, all right, well, you're right. I need some me time. I'm going to go to the spa. I'm going to take a nap lap in the middle of the day. I'm going to put extra creamer in my coffee, whatever it is that brings you some joy.
Yes.
And you're going to say, okay, I'm going to pivot. And so the pivot is what you're spending more time on than the sadness. And that's what will imprint in your brain, teaching you to learn instead of teaching you to wallow.
And for people who have a hard time flipping from the negative to the positive, get on some positive affirmations
Yes.
because that's what has helped me. I would be the wallower. I was the one who would sit in those feelings. And now, and I've said it before, I notice if I have a negative feeling about something, it doesn't take me too long to get out of it. The positive starts to come around.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That is really huge.
Definitely.
And so I think there's a big part here that they just kind of jumped into and didn't really talk about. The fact that we have control over our emotions. Sometimes as an emotional being, I consider myself an emotional being. I see an old person eating by themselves in a cafe and it just breaks my heart, man. I can't take it. Like little things. I'm an empath.
So a little personal story. Julie got a little upset with me
Why?
because she said I haven't been over a house in a long time. And she shed a little tear.
So I'm emotional, but I need to be able to harness that. And sometimes I think that I don't spend enough time
With me?
redirecting,
Oh, I was like, no.
redirecting those emotions. By the way, when I cried telling Chantel that she hasn't come to see me in a while, I had just had a seizure.
She did. And then when I told her the story, she's like, why am I so dramatic? After she finally, came to and, was calmed.
But my husband took me over to her house to feel better, and it was
Yeah.
nice. So what do you do to feel better when you're having a hard time? What do you do to pivot when there's a failure, and how does that change your perspective on life? More about that after this break, because we are going to teach you how to harness your emotions to be a better person each day.
I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. And even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, Maria, and she convinced me to continue my education. Just never judges. She's a true role model. From the depths of my heart, I thank you, Maria, for being a friend and a beautiful person. No one receives a diploma alone, and I'm honored to share this moment with you. Thank you. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hey,
Dum,
besties.
dum, dum. It's like, let me stop copyright infringement from me even singing it.
So, Chantel Brown is back with the news on the Viera Vida show.
Welcome to the Viera Vida show.
So excited that you figured out who that male was,
Yes.
the anchor on, what was it, Fox or CNN?
He's on ABC, Eyewitness News, Action News.
Was it Fox or CNN? ABC. Neither. Pay attention.
It's so mismo.
Yeah, Jim Gardner.
Yeah, Jim Gardner. He's been on there since I was a child. And
Oh
he's
my
still
gosh,
kicking.
is he the white people Don Francisco?
That's a good question.
He might
because
could be.
my abuela and abuelo used to watch this news channel. This is how I know he was on TV. Since
He
we were
might
little.
could be.
He might could be.
Oh, that's so funny. So welcome back to the Viera Vida show. Today we are talking about personal growth and how that means that you have to harness your emotions, your physical health, and all of your goals in order to be a person who adapts and grows at every point in your life.
Yeah, because something's always going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like, you know what it feels like when you're getting things together, and I say that in quotes.
Get it together.
You're getting your finances right.
Mm.
You're getting your swing of things at the office or whatever job you do.
Your jeans
your
fit again.
relationships, your clothes. And then something just happens. That's how it always seems to go, either financially, your car, something happens with your car. You need brakes for all your tires. You need tires for all 4 tires. Like,
Right.
exactly. So
It happens in like threes, right?
Always.
Anyone says it happens in
Like, I
threes.
just started building my savings account. What the heck? So it just always seems to happen that way. And you're right. It's always the point of, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle the situation? I used to cry. If something seemed to go wrong, especially financially, especially with the car, like, I just fixed it, oh my gosh, I would cry.
Really?
And then I remember talking to my mom, and I don't know if she was like, I think she told me, maybe there's a lesson you need to learn in life somewhere, that you keep going through this thing over and over again. And those words always stuck with me, because the lesson that I learned for myself was, if I'm trusting and believing in the Father, who we know the scripture says that, like, he feeds, like, the sparrow and the birds, then will he not feed me? Like, and I'm paraphrasing. That's not exactly what it says. I'm paraphrasing that scripture. But
Lauren
it's like,
Daigle has a great song about that scripture.
Right. And it's true. It's like, if that's where my faith and my trust is, why am I allowing myself to become so downcast and so, emotional, when I know that he provides? So I just started to get to the point in hearing her words and thinking about the scriptures that, you know what, it's going to be okay. It's going to work out. I don't know how, but it's going to work out. And it always ends up working out. So I stopped crying.
It does.
I stopped crying and just pulled my big girl panties on and just kept moving.
Big girl panties. That's funny. You said panties. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Am I into that? But yeah, I can't relate to that. Like, I never... I don't, like, cry when something happens. In fact, I'm one of those, like, overly annoyingly positive people about it. And then
it's good, though.
Yeah, so, like, things don't bother me. Like, when you know, one time I just got a brand new car off the lot.
One time at Ben Cabs, like,
yeah, and you know, a drunk driver came, hit me, totaled it right away.
Right off the lot?
Right off the lot. Oh, no, it was like a week later. I was going to Bible
that's
studies.
Right off the lot.
Friend, you knew this. I was going to Bible studies.
A week ago?
A week ago. Of that time.
No.
Of that time. Yeah. And so, so now I'm going to tell the story. So it was about a week ago in the story.
In like 2000s.
And I got my car. And then it was, I met this random person on campus. It was so random. And she was like, hey, we do Bible studies at Drexel University. Do you want to come? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's go to Bible studies on a Friday night. Went out to Bible studies on Drexel's campus, and I was sitting at the light, and I'm like, hallelujah, and like having a good old time. And then I'm at the light, and then I see this light coming towards me, and I see it still coming, and I see it coming faster, and I'm still sitting at the light. So what can I do? Boom, they hit me right away. And then they kept it moving, and then so I tried to trace them a little bit, and then I got their license plate. Turns out they didn't have insurance or anything, but yeah, I had to call the tow truck.
I did not know it was about a week after you got that car.
Yeah, it was no bueno. But I was just like, man, thank God I'm okay, blah, 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 all this stuff. Or just like anything that happens, I'm just like, okay, yeah. And my husband, he'll be like, man, I can't believe or this or that. And I'm just like, chill.
Yeah,
but what
he's the
really
emotional
gets
one
me,
in it,
when
not
it comes
so much
to
that
like
he cries, he doesn't cry, but
yeah,
it's like,
the emotion harness in a different way. He, like, doesn't know how to deal with it in the moment. I'm like, why are you tripping? Things happen.
Because what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. But things that I can't control, like with interpersonally, that's what I cry about. Like family, like friends, people being mean. I cry about people. And then sometimes they don't even know me. So I have some work to do there. But what I'm saying is we all have our thing.
We do. And I was going to say we're all different. And that's what makes the world go round. And I think it's great. And so it's funny because I'm looking at you like, what? Again, you don't get emotional over what I used to allow myself to get emotional over. And I don't get emotional over what. Okay, let me back up. for people that I really, really, truly care about, if I'm going through something with them, then yes, it makes me upset. But people that I'm just like acquaintanced with or whatever, I'm just like, okay, I'll try to be like, am I tripping in this situation? Check, 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 check. No, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, not me. I'm still tripping about something that happened in the summertime where this one girl was really rude to me and completely wrong. But I don't even know her like that.
The key thing?
No,
Oh.
the reunion thing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
And I'm like, why? I didn't really know you, but so that's something that I'm going to actively change, and that's something I want to build skills around. My innate ability to dismiss those things, because after so much time you teach your brain and it becomes innate. And so I thought this article was really cool because it teaches you about the greatness that you have within yourself. Our brains are powerful. You have power over that powerful thing. That's crazy.
Which is powerful.
Which is powerful. Mind blown, you guys. So I want to take this year and I want to, 1, stop caring so much what people think. 2, be open to dealing with things as they happen instead of just kind of pushing it aside and internalizing it. Yes. Did you just take that on my brain?
I think I did.
Hallelujah. And 3, I want to grow my relationship with both the Father and my own brain. I want to understand my brain more.
That's very good. Because
Thank you.
That's very good, because that last one where you want to grow your relationship with your brain, I'm actually going to start, which I kind of did. I have an app called Migraine Buddy. So I have been recording, which is why I know the date of the last one with you. I'm recording what happens, but the next thing I want to do is record foods to see, because I already know, one thing I know is lack of sleep. Trigger for me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, your brain,
yeah,
it's like breath for your brain.
Right. Because, like, my son, when he was a baby, I had, like, a couple, like, in the same week because I wasn't getting sleep. I'm still not getting sleep. Okay, same thing. Different stages of life. Different stages of life and different stages of sleepy. So now I need to know what potential foods could be causing the trigger. So that's a relationship with my body, learning what my triggers could be.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
And, you know, what I want for this show is and I feel like we've had this conversation with you listeners about this before, but really to have this be a safe place, because I'm seeing that a lot of public platforms are not safe places.
No.
But I have realized that in the over a year that we've been doing this, there have not been any negative comments. There have been, you know, people who disagree with certain things and things like that, like normal conversation.
But it's agree to disagree type
but there
of
has
attitude,
not
yes.
been disrespect.
Correct.
And so now that we have built this
We ain't
trust.
tolerating it here.
We ain't
Sorry.
doing it. So now we built this trust, we're ready to get deeper, and we're ready to share our experiences in a way that help you grow, but also talk more about deeper issues, such as, you know, taking a hold of your life. Because though that sounds crazy, but your life is, I almost got really philosophical, but our brain's working, so we're here. It's our life. Our life is our brain. Anyway, take control of it. I was really thinking Descartes.
I thought you were closing the show. And I look over, I was like, oh, we still.
Oh, no. I
Like
really, really almost got super philosophical, so
Well,
I had
why
to just,
not?
like, hone it back in. Because it ain't that deep. I don't want to overcomplicate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have control over who you are, right?
Yeah. You do. You do. And I have to tell you, I remember I was praying one time and I was on my face and I was praying. I want to change. Father, I want to change. Please change me. I want to change. I kept praying. And I'll never forget I heard, if you want to change, then change.
If you want to change, then change. That's what he had said.
That's what he had said. And it's like, he's given me the tools. He's giving you the tools and the power to be able to change. And as long as you're telling him this is what I want to do, I kind of looked at it as I'm here to help you and to be your support in changing and whatever you're trying to do. But walk it.
Yeah.
Live it. Do it.
That always makes me think about when, you know, the man is on the boat, or no, drowning.
Yes.
Drowning in the water, praying for God to come help him. I'm going to drown. God help me. Boat goes by. He doesn't get in. God's coming. Boat goes by, doesn't get. God's coming. God, why didn't you save me?
Sent you on
Homie,
them boats.
I sent you the boats. Like, you have
Supposed to
a
get
part to
in.
play in this.
Yeah.
So get on those boats. And part of getting on those boats, let's give you actionable items,
Yes.
are 1, stop multitasking. 2, set your goals. 3, harness your emotions.
Yes. How was your last week in this last few minutes of the show that we had?
Oh, let's leave it light. My last week
Yeah.
was... Okay, maybe we're not leaving it light. It was tough. But it's whatever.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's my birthday. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
is tomorrow my birthday?
Yes, the 19th.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow's
Yes,
my birthday.
yes.
Yeah, because this morning it was like 5 a.m. and I was like January 18th. I was like, that sounds familiar. Wait, tomorrow's my birthday?
I've noticed that once you get past, again for me, once you get past 21 and 25, it's just like, wait, how old am I? And not even 25.
It was
Past
23 for me.
Yeah, I
I
was going
got
to say, past
confused.
21. I think I told my grandmother I was like 2 years older one time. I don't know. But it just seems that as you get older, not saying that you're not appreciative of like seeing another year, going around the sun, like, you know what I'm saying, all that good stuff. It's just that, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, wait, where am I? How old am I? Where are we at again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my birthday. Yeah, that's it.
But you know what? I feel, you know how people say around your birthday, do you feel older? Yeah, I feel a year older.
But is it in a good way?
It's in a place of personal growth.
Yeah. I had a really good friend of mine. I don't want to say what her title is. I don't know if she would want me to share this or not. But she was posting on her IG about how she was so sad. She's going to be 30 and sad. Oh, my gosh, 30. I said, I completely understand. Because I know that feeling like, oh, my gosh, I'm about to be 30. Like, I get it. I said, but wait till you actually turn 30. I couldn't describe it to her except for saying it makes you feel grown. Not that you weren't grown at 29. You weren't grown at 28. It's just like, oh, I'm 30.
I don't lie. This 29 is about to feel so grown.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? Because one other thing that I'm focusing on is more independence, and my health has limited to that in some way. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that 30. And your week aside from the migraines?
My week aside from the migraines was good. Yes, it was good. I enjoy where I work. I enjoy the people I work with. They were so helpful with the migraine. What do you need? On the phone, my mom, do you need me to get your kids? One of them, shout out to Miss Ruby, she actually took me to the hospital because her and my mom were talking, because migraine with aura symptoms can present as stroke. And then what I'm reading and learning as I'm doing more research, migraine with aura sufferers, especially women, are now predisposed for stroke because of the aura that comes with it. So so they made me go, and they were just very supportive. What do you need? Miguel was helpful. Waited for my husband to give him a key so I can get my car home. Like, just, you know, so I'm thankful for the team that I have by me, because I told my mom the last time I had a migraine with aura and a migraine hangover, which is the correct term is postdrome.
Yeah.
I had to get back to work the next day. And because I had just come back from Europe, the last time I had gotten a migraine the Monday we came back from Europe, and I had to be back to work that Tuesday, and I remember it was a struggle.
Well, not your last one.
No. So this was back in 2017. So the last time I recognized the post-drum phase. This is the second time I recognized it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you grew through that, though, and you're learning your body.
Yes.
We try to be positive, y'all, but sometimes life is life, and so you just have to be ready to pivot. We're going to pivot the rest of our days and have a good day. Why is she dancing? She's doing Zumba over here. Have a good day. Meet us here next week, 10 a.m. on Saturday.
Oh, man.
Bye, besties.